One of the most significant events of Holy Week leading up to Jesus' passion and death was the arrival of the Greeks asking to see Jesus. Too often we skip over the significance of this event. It was only after Andrew and Philip told Jesus that the Greeks wanted to see him that Jesus said, "The hour is now come for the Son of Man to achieve his glory." What did Jesus mean when he said that? Fulton Sheen guides us in our reflection on this. He said, "Now it was time for the Gentiles to be given a lesson concerning the reason for his coming." All of this verified what the Pharisees just proclaimed. The whole world was running after him. While the enemies were plotting to kill him, the Greeks wished to see him. At his birth, the wise men of the East came to his cradle. Now the Greeks, who were the wise men of the West, came to the cross. Both the Magi of the East and the Magi of the West were to see a humiliation. In the first instance, God in the form of a babe in Bethlehem, and in the latter, God in the form of a criminal on the cross. As a sign leading to an understanding of his divinity, the Magi were given the star, the Greeks a grain of wheat. To bring the lesson of redemption home to the Greeks, he used an example from nature. "Believe me when I tell you this, a grain of wheat must fall into the ground and die, or else it remains nothing more than a grain of wheat. But if it dies, then it yields rich fruit." He revealed that his life would have his greatest influence through his death. So when Jesus said, "The hour is now come for the Son of Man to achieve his glory," he was saying the glorification referred to the lowest depths of his humiliation on the cross, but it also referred to his triumph. Fulton Sheen goes on, "He did not say the hour was near for him to die, but for him to be glorified." To his followers, the cross presently seemed as the depth of humiliation. To him, it was the height of glory. Applying these words of Jesus to our critical moment in history, we are witnessing both the greatest humiliation of the church and the great awakening of a non-believing world. As Fulton Sheen said, Jesus' words to the Greeks meant that the Gentiles were to be a feature of his glorification. This is why we are at the most important moment of the new evangelization. To help the non-believing world seeking the answer to its problems, to hear and recognize this invitation to encounter Jesus Christ. Jesus has not forgotten about them, and their coming to him will be part of his glory. But the path to this glory is the present humiliation that the church and the world must pass through. The church is entering into its passion and crucifixion, and there are two outcomes depending on our response. If we fail to be the grain of wheat and follow Christ faithfully through this necessary passion and death, it will be to our ruin. But if we surrender ourselves to it, knowing its necessity to purify the church and the world, the church and all who follow her will enter into Christ's glory in a way she has never experienced before. This is why Fulton Sheen said, "We are on the verge of the greatest spiritual revival in human history."